learned to disappear before you even knew what silence cost. As a child, you didn't cry too loud. You didn't ask twice. You watched the adults in your life move through their chaos, their anger, their indifference, and you made yourself small enough to survive it. You spoke, but no one turned around. You needed, but no one noticed. So you stopped expecting anyone to see you. You became the kid who was never heard. And that kid is still inside you now, whispering that your voice doesn't matter, that your feelings are too much, that you should just stay quiet and let everyone else take up space. You learned early that being seen was dangerous, that needing something made you a burden, that your emotions were inconvenient interruptions in other people's lives. So you swallowed them. You turned your pain into silence, your needs into apologies, your anger into compliance. You became so good at not being heard that eventually you stopped hearing yourself. This is where it began, in a home where your words fell into empty rooms, where your tears were met with dismissal or irritation, where you were told to stop being dramatic, to toughen up, to stop seeking attention. Maybe your parents were overwhelmed, drowning in their own unhealed wounds. Maybe they were emotionally unavailable, too tired, too numb, too distracted to turn toward you when you needed them most. Maybe they invalidated your feelings, told you that you were overreacting, that what hurt you wasn't really that bad. Or maybe they simply weren't there at all, physically present but emotionally absent, staring through you like you were a ghost in your own home. So you adapted. You learned that love meant not asking for too much. That connection meant staying quiet. That belonging meant erasing yourself. You became hypervigilant, scanning every face for signs of irritation, every tone for hints of rejection. You learned to read the room before you entered it, to gauge everyone's mood before you dare to speak, to make yourself useful so that maybe, just maybe, someone would notice you were there. Inside, you felt like you were screaming into a void. Every time you tried to express what you felt, it came out wrong, or it was ignored, or it was minimized. So you stopped trying. You told yourself that your feelings weren't important, that other people's comfort mattered more than your pain. You became the accommodating one, the easy one, the one who never caused problems. You wore a mask of fine, even when you were breaking. You smiled when you wanted to cry. You said yes when you meant no. You gave and gave and gave because being needed felt close enough to being loved. But underneath that mask, there was a child still waiting to be heard, still hoping that someone would ask how you really are and actually wait for the answer, still aching for someone to see through performance and say, I know you're not okay, and that's okay too. This is the psychology of emotional neglect and learned silence. Attachment theory tells us that children need attunement, that we learn who we are through the mirror of our caregiver's responses. When a child's emotional expressions are consistently ignored, dismissed, or punished, they internalize a devastating belief. My feelings are not valid. My needs are not important. I am not worth listening to. This creates what psychologists call an insecure attachment style, often anxious or avoidant, where the nervous system never learns that it's safe to be seen, safe to be vulnerable, safe to take up space. The child who was never heard develops a fawn response, a survival mechanism where they prioritize others' needs over their own to avoid conflict and maintain connection. They become hyper-vigilant people pleasers, constantly shape-shifting to fit what they think others want them to be. This isn't a personality trait. It's a survival strategy. It's what happens when a developing brain learns that silence is safe in expression, that invisibility is safer than presence, that self-erasure is the price of love. As an adult, this pattern follows you everywhere. In relationships, you attract people who don't listen, who dominate conversations, who make everything about them, because this dynamic feels familiar. You find yourself with partners who talk over you, friends who vent endlessly but never ask about your day, workplaces where your ideas are dismissed or stolen. And you tolerate it because some part of you still believes this is what you deserve. You struggle to advocate for yourself, to set boundaries, to say this isn't okay with me. When someone asks what you want, your mind goes blank. You spend so long prioritizing everyone else that you've lost touch with your own desires, your own needs, your own voice. You apologize constantly, even when you've done nothing wrong. You over-explain yourself, terrified of being misunderstood or rejected. You dim your light so others can shine. You silence your truth to keep the peace. And when someone finally does listen, really listen, you don't trust it. You wait for the other shoe to drop, for them to get bored or annoyed, for them to confirm what you've always believed, that you're too much and not enough all at once. But here's the wound you don't talk about, the one you've buried so deep you almost convince yourself it isn't there. You don't just feel unheard. You feel fundamentally unlovable. Because if the people who were supposed to love you unconditionally couldn't make space for your voice, couldn't hold your pain, couldn't see you, then what does that say about you? The child in you decided it must be your fault, that you were the problem, that if you were just different, quieter, easier, better, maybe then someone would care. So you spent your whole life trying to prove your worth, trying to earn the basic emotional attentiveness you should have received freely. You've turned yourself inside out trying to be worthy of being heard, when the truth is you always were. You didn't need to change. They needed to listen. This pattern is costing you everything. It's costing you authentic connection, because people can't love the real you if you never show them who that is. It's costing you self-respect, because every time you silence yourself, you abandon yourself the way others once abandoned you. It's costing you joy, because you're so busy managing everyone else's emotions that you've forgotten how to feel your own. It's costing you your voice, your truth, your life. And the cruelest part is that you become the person who doesn't hear you now. You've internalized the neglect. You dismiss your own feelings before anyone else can. You minimize your pain before it even has a chance to surface. You've taken over the job of silencing yourself so efficiently that you don't need anyone else to do it anymore. You are disappearing yourself, and no one even has to ask. But healing is possible, and it starts with turning toward that kid who was never heard. That child doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to listen, to stop, get quiet, and ask, what do I actually feel right now? What do I actually need? What have I been swallowing because I'm afraid of being too much? Start practicing emotional honesty, even if it's just with yourself at first. Name your feelings. Validate them. Say out loud, I'm angry and that's okay. I'm hurt and that's okay. I need something and that's okay. Your emotions are not inconveniences. They are information. They are your internal guidance system trying to protect you, trying to help you navigate the world. When you dismiss them, you dismiss yourself. Start setting small boundaries. Say no without a paragraph of justification. Let someone be disappointed in you without crumbling. Speak up in conversations, even if your voice shakes, even if you're terrified of taking up too much space. Reclaim your voice one sentence at a time. Find safe people who can hold space for you, who can listen without fixing or dismissing, who can say, I hear you and mean it. Therapy can help, especially modalities like inner child work, somatic therapy, or EMFS, which can help you rewire the nervous system patterns that keep you stuck in silence. You need to reparent yourself to become the attentive, validating, loving presence you never had. You need to prove to your nervous system that it's safe to be seen now, that you won't abandon yourself the way others did, that your voice matters even if no one else is listening. The truth is this: you were never the problem. You were a child who needed to be heard, and the adults around you failed you. That failure was not a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their capacity. You deserve to be listened to. You deserve to have your feelings validated. You deserve to take up space. And you still do. Your voice is not too much. Your needs are not a burden. Your presence is not an inconvenience. You are allowed to be loud, to be messy, to be complicated, to be human. You are allowed to need things and ask for them. You are allowed to feel everything you feel without apology. The kid who was never heard is still inside you, and they are waiting for you to finally turn around and listen, to say, I see you, I hear you, and you matter. That is where healing begins. In the moment you stop waiting for someone else to validate you, and you validate yourself. In the moment you realize that the voice you've been searching for has been yours all along. You just needed permission to use it. So here it is. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Even if no one else is listening, you deserve to hear yourself. And the world deserves to hear you too.